My connection is really terrible, so there we go. My connection here is very bad, so it may not last long, but I'm having some coffee before class. If anyone's there, you can join in and say hello, and maybe we can have a little chat. Yeah, just having my coffee this morning before class. I'm getting ready to go to Nagato Sensei's class, and yesterday I had a class with him that was really awesome. With Nagato Sensei, one of the common things with his Taijutsu is his incredible use of distance. Hello, H. Mira, 1993. Says it's your first time on Periscope, so hello, welcome. Hello from Brazil. Yes, hi Brazil. I heard about the plane crash the other day with some Brazilians. I spoke to some Brazilians in the dojo and offered my condolences. So that was a pretty sad thing that happened. Anyway, as I was saying, I was training with Nagato Sensei in his dojo, and Nagato Sensei has a very incredible way of controlling distance with his Taijutsu. His use of space and control of distance is one of the keys to understanding Nagato Sensei's Taijutsu. Hello, Forrester, first day on Periscope. Yeah, Nagato, he's one of the bigger Japanese guys, one of the bigger instructors physically. His stature gives him the appearance of being someone who would be able to use a lot of strength and muscle when he does techniques. But if you've ever been uke for Nagato Sensei, you notice right away that he doesn't use a lot of force or strength when he does, when he throws you around, right? He does it very softly. And so one of the keys to him being able to do that is his control of distance. Yesterday I was doing a technique in his class, and we were receiving the punch with one hand and then using the elbow to receive a second punch and control that way. And the tendency when you receive the first punch with your hand and then receive the second with your elbow, the tendency is to allow the attacker or the opponent to come in too close with their second punch. And so then you end up really tight in there with them kind of wrestling. And Nagato Sensei wasn't doing that. He was staying out at a long range. So the second punch could barely even reach him. And then because of that range and that distance, not only after he controlled the second punch with his elbow, the opponent had trouble reaching him with a kick or with another attack of any kind, and he had the opponent stretched out. So there's a lot of noise in here. It's a coffee shop. I'm having some coffee. Anyway, you might be able to see in here. There's my view outside the coffee shop. This is just a small coffee shop. I'm trying to get a little wired up before class. It's always good to have coffee. If anybody has any questions about training or about what's happening here in Japan, feel free to type something into the Periscope there. I'll do my best to pay attention and respond. The connection I have here in the coffee shop is not the greatest, so if it drops out, I apologize. So yeah, that was a great class with Nagato Sensei yesterday. And today I'm looking forward to more of the same. One thing that I noticed in Nagato Sensei's class, and I noticed this also in Senou Sensei's class, was that many students seem really confused. It happened in Senou Sensei's class. He would show a technique, and the students were scratching their heads, and they would have to see it repeated over and over and had trouble doing it themselves. Well, the same thing was happening in Nagato Sensei's class. People were, oh, thanks for the hearts there. In Nagato Sensei's class, people were doing, he was doing a technique, and he was having to do it over and over, and people were scratching their heads and having trouble making it happen. So I'm not sure why that was. I mean, sometimes Nagato's Taijutsu can be quite subtle and difficult to understand, but for some reason people were really confused. Nagato started, he was picking on my training partner quite a bit. He saw my training partner really struggling to do the techniques. My training partner would often use the wrong hand to do a technique, or apply the technique in the wrong way to me when Nagato would be doing a mushidori and my partner would try to do something like a ganseki, or Nagato would show an omote gyaku of some kind, and the guy would do you know, he kept trying to do ganseki with almost every technique, and Nagato started correcting him, and he was doing this over and over, and he even brought him out in front of the whole class and was kind of correcting him. But the whole class looked really confused, and so Nagato asked my partner, you know, how long he'd been training, and he said he'd been training for 1 year. And that was a little bit surprising to me, because once I heard that, it made sense that my training partner was struggling with these techniques. But my training partner was wearing a black belt, and it kind of surprised me that someone would have a black belt and only have been training for 1 year, and you know, be in Japan wearing that black belt. I personally, as an instructor, I don't give out black belts that quickly. My students, it generally takes them like around 5 years or so to get a black belt from me. But maybe I'm stricter than most. I don't know. I think some teachers give them out a little quicker. But 1 year is very quick. And so then when I heard that this student had only been training for 1 year, it made sense to me that he was struggling so much with Nagato Sensei's Taijutsu. I don't really understand, though, why everybody else in the dojo was struggling so much. There were people there with all kinds of experience, so yeah, I've had that experience myself in the past in Nagato Sensei's classes. Like, it's easy to get confused or get lost because his taijutsu is very subtle. But like I say, if you really pay attention to the distance that he uses, and use your feet, move your body, use your feet to accomplish that distance, it can really make a difference for your experience in his classes. You'll have a much better shot at accomplishing or emulating what he is doing. So I'm in this coffee shop. It's a little bit, you guys might see the view here. Little coffee shop. I'm trying to have some coffee before class, going to Nagato Sensei's class later. So yeah, I do these Periscope videos, and the idea is you guys can ask questions if you have any. Hello, your first day on Periscope. Lin Ming, welcome. yeah, if you guys have any questions about training or about my trip here in Japan, feel free to ask. For some reason, people maybe are a little shy about typing in questions, or maybe they don't have any. So I just do my best to keep rambling. But yeah, I'm sitting here having some coffee. As you can see, before going to the dojo. One time, Hatsumi Sensei, we were training in Ayase, and my teacher Peter was walking towards Ayase there to go to the class, and Hatsumi Sensei was going the other direction, and he grabbed a hold of Peter and said, "Come on!" and he dragged Peter with him, and they went to the coffee shop, and Hatsumi Sensei ordered some espressos and lined them up on the counter like shots, right? And he did a shot of espresso, and he expected Peter to join in, but Peter doesn't drink coffee or do caffeine, so it was kind of a difficult situation for Peter to have to, to humor Hatsumi Sensei there and have some espresso before class. So I imagine Peter was a bit jittery during class because he doesn't normally do caffeine like that. So anyway, I'm here getting ready for Nagato Sensei's class this afternoon. Here in Japan it is a Thursday afternoon. Back home where I'm from it's still Wednesday, so if you're in America, I'm speaking to you from the future. It's time travel. All right. If anybody has any questions about training, please type it in there, and let me know if you have any questions about my trip in Japan or training in the dojo. This trip I've made a point of going to many of Senou Sensei's classes. I really enjoy his classes a lot, and he's added a few classes on, so he's having more classes than he had in the past. You guys might know him, but or maybe you don't know, but he was sick for a while and he quit teaching, so it's very nice that he's back, and he's seems to be in good shape, and he's teaching more classes than ever. So far I've had, I had 1, 2, 3, 4. I've had 4 classes with him. I expect to have quite a few more before this trip is through. So yeah, it's pretty exciting to have these classes with Senou. He's one of the better instructors. He's been around for a long time. He started training when he was a teenager and got to meet Takamatsu Sensei and train with him. So it's really nice for us to be able to have that connection to the past of our art, going back through the decades. And Senou Sensei is such a giving teacher. He's very generous. Yeah, I'm really happy for that. Anyway, this connection on this periscope may not be so good, so I think I'm gonna cut it short for now, and I'll hit you guys up a bit later. All right.